people's time.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate actually for the local restaurants.
So look, straight back in, no messing around, getting started with this fight. And I feel like we're on tenterhooks as to when we'll get there.
Yeah.
But what's also difficult to cast about this is we have to go through so many speed bumps before we get to the chance of seeing the actual kill happen, which we know is imminent. We absolutely do know it's imminent. So for those of you who are watching, wherever you are watching, we are glad you are staying with us, as we are as invested as you are in when it will actually happen. And this extraordinarily good raid tier will come to an end. And it really has been. We've seen backwards and forwards. We saw Method behind because the DNA reset. Then they came back to claim 3 consecutive world firsts. Then fall behind again to limit on Zakul, and then managing to get into the Azshara fight later. And I think at this point, 100 pulls less than the closest competition.
It's actually been a very good competition. I mean, even with some of the Asian guilds, JTH and AFKR and all those guilds over there have actually had really good competition, and it's been super close, and it's been a really fun race to watch.
Unbelievable. The race becoming such a spectacle has brought so many guilds to the forefront who are now seeing a light at the end of the tunnel and investing into the World First race. That we're starting to see 2 extremely good Oceanic guilds, honestly and Ethical, showed their faces early on and showed that they are fully capable of being contenders for this race. And unfortunately, still not quite able to commit to the kind of day rating that the guys need to keep up for the week 1, week 2 kills. We've also seen even Exorcists, who were world first contenders for a long, long time, still throwing their hat in the ring. Really contributing to it. And as well as you said, multiple guilds from the east, including Alpha, also joining JTH and AFKR in being literally, I mean, we were in a position earlier on that the first 3 guilds to reach Queen Azshara, to overcome all those obstacles and be under no illusion how difficult it is to get to this fight alone, as only 1 guild in all of the Oceanic and US realms has managed to reach this boss. That is only limit. No one else has been able to actually defeat Zakul at all of all those players. And we actually had US in the first place, we had EU, which was Method, in the second place, and then we had JTH, GT on Hong, in the third place. We had a guild from all over the world in the top 3 spots, looking to get some work done here on Azshara. And as it stands right now, and as the guys seem to believe, currently Method went with the only strategy set up gearing process, because you might ask yourself, can't the other guilds who went with 3 healers, can't they just adjust to what's Method's doing? Because it's clearly working. And the answer is no. No, they really can't. It's just not possible because they've used their gearing strategies in order before this, which are locked out. Once you've done them, you've done them. And they've chose the characters they chose to gear. They've practiced the ones they want to do. And they just can't just adapt to it. It's not like you can just go, oh, we'll just Bloodlust in the last phase. That is not how this fight works at all.
It has to be perfect. The timings do have to be perfect, and you really do have to think outside the box. And you know that the big brains like Scribe, who and Roger and everyone who are coming up with these tactics. And I think Twitch chat were definitely non-believers in the 2 heal strat for a while. But you know, you've got to wait and believe in these guys. They know what they're doing. They've done it a few times. Not their first rodeo. It is pretty impressive.
And as we are getting to the heart... Oh, no, I'm gasking because I am really impressed, and thank you, chat, for pointing this out, is while we have been casting, the Alliance Guild on the Oceanic Realm have joined in to the Azshara fight.
Oh my goodness.
Extraordinary. No day raiding as far as I know, besides the very first day. Those guys have joined them up there at the top. Massive congratulations to those guys in showing not only the Oceanic power, because we saw early on, I saw some people saying Oceanic sucks. It really doesn't. Those guilds in the first few days were right up there with the big boys. They are definite contenders. They just didn't quite have the time to take part. But the Alliance has its first representative. Every single other guild, there are currently, as far as I know, 19 guilds, because some of the guilds aren't shown on the progress I have right now, currently working on Zakul. And now we have the first Alliance guild joining them. So massive congratulations to Honestly for getting that done today. Couldn't be happier, and hope to see you guys in the race next time, maybe able to show exactly what you guys can do.
for sure.
That would be great. Oh, did we have a death then? I don't think we did.
No. We
only have one
battle
combat.
res.
Yeah,
I think we did have a death
there. I think it might have been Revez or Vikland. I just saw very, very quickly somebody died there, but I did miss that while I was updating the progress over here. So apologies, audience, for not catching that straight away. But yeah, the Alliance World first coming. The Alliance World first coming.
Yeah.
They do desperately need some representation up there, as does the US and Oceanic as well. That puts 2 guilds over in that part of the world who have reached 7 out of 8, and we'd like to see more.
Yep.
Absolutely. The more guilds, the better who are pushing to this. Even with what has now kind of become a 2-horse race for the most part, despite so many guilds, has been just a joy to watch.
Yeah. So we get the charged spear breaking the shield on the second ad, and in case you're just joining us, this is the DPS race of the fight. Really, you want to kill this ad before that second beam spawns. You need to break the shield multiple times with the Myrmidon. That charged spear. We are going to kill this Myrmidon, and we're going to actually get another Myrmidon during the transition to that third ad here, right here.
As the raid is going to now move over to the final and most... I know the guys tell me they consider the second one most difficult, and we've kind of parroted that a bit, but I'm going to just say I disagree. I think this is the most difficult. They have to do so much here correctly, and they have to intentionally do this slowly in order to get this right and to make the percentages work. So from a very basic level, guys, what you're looking for is Queen Azshara is currently at 59%, so she's a couple of percent behind where we'd like it to be already. We really want her to... We want that large Naga you can see in the center of that ward to die at about the same time that Queen Azshara is sub 51%.
Yep.
So we have a spear go out, and the spears in this fight, or in this phase, are the scary part. If everyone survives the spears, we're pretty good. There's not really too much damage going out aside from that. There are the arcane missiles, but those are relatively healable. The spear is the big burst of damage in this phase.
Yeah, you literally just saw Sko hiding behind that pillar. That was to reset his arcane missile stacks. That's that pink timer that you can see very near the center and to the left. You can see it's counting down from 15. That is constantly stacking up and increasing the damage they take. It's happening to the entire raid. So what you're seeing is the guys literally pop behind that corner, time it so it doesn't refresh, and let that thing drop off, because the reason people die so often in this phase, and why I personally think this is more difficult than the other one, is that health is dramatically reduced on the entire raid because they have to give over their max HP in order to charge the wards. Combined with those arcane missiles, you have too many stacks, so it hits you that little bit harder, combined with the raid damage the spear does that Moose was just talking about, and you can have the potential for a one-shot.
All right, so let's look at the HPs here. We have 12% on the ad, 52% on the boss. This is actually looking very good. We want sub 51% on this transition here. When we kill the ad, sub 51%. This is looking pretty good here. 51%, 50.7% going into this phase. We have 1 battle res available, and we have another one coming up in a minute or two.
Hold on to your butts, boys, because this is a good position to be in. A very good position, but we're not starting that hype train just yet. They have a little ways to go. But this is a very, very good position for the guys to be in. 1 battle res in the bank. They got a lovely amount of HP of Queen Azshara there. Almost idyllic. Yeah. Very close to being idyllic. So now we're just going to play it calm while they deal with the next 2 consoles. The consoles over here are going to overload, in which case the guys have to click them and drain them out. It will do massive raid-wide AoE damage. That's why they're bunching up and hiding under a barrier. You'll see it splash. There it is.
2.
That's 2.
The beam spawning right next to them. It is a good spawn for them.
We see Perfecto gains the huge damage buff.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't see it on anyone else.
I just see 1 on Perfecto,
Yeah,
I just see it on Perfecto. So when you do click the console,
right, here comes the
damage
beams.
buff. Yeah, do not die to the beams, guys. Come on. Now, they need to do 1 more console.
Those were very good spawns on beams. They didn't really overlap at all.
Taking their time, throwing out some Vivifies, playing
the Ranger going out to bait the Shadow Puddles.
Yep, and now Perfecto has died, but we did know that was
expected.
Yep.
Yeah, that damage buff does kill you after 30
They do have the battle res. They have 1 more battle res still.
Her HP is extremely low.
Yeah, 19%. It's been sub 20% on the second click, and we haven't even gotten to the second
click.
click.
We're 10 seconds away.
Now.
We have lost
so
Deep
we do
Shades,
have another battle res. Get
Deep
Shades up.
Okay, here comes the next console with 5 seconds, and she has so little health left as we work towards this. Here's the last console they're going to be doing. as they work towards this. Hold on, guys. They have a little ways to go yet. 15% remains on this boss.
Deep Shades has a buff, and Kana has the buff.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So we get 2 buffs. That is very good. The beams, we need to dodge the beams here. No one dies to that beam.
And now all they have to
beam
nuke.
coming through.
They're not dealing with
And
this
now this is
console
just a
ever
nuke.
again.
Now it's just a nuke.
This is
is
just a nuke.
This
And they
very well
also
could be
have
it.
to manage the wards. Very important that they manage these wards, that they don't go empty and they have a
Does
press
Kana have an Onk?
We're about to
Kana
get
does
it.
have an Onk.
Kana has the
He
Onk.
does have the Onk.
We are at
8%.
8% and
8%. Everyone is alive.
Yep.
7%. They've got to make sure that these wards do not drain completely, but they are in really good shape. As
It
we are
looks
at
like it.
5%. We are at 4%, ladies and gentlemen. 3%.
3.
She is melting. Queen
2.
Azshara is melting
2.
right before our eyes.
1.
1% and all alive.
0.7.
Method has
0.8.
taken.
We
We
got
got
it!
it
We got it!
Method
World first
once
Queen
again
Azshara!
has proved why they are the king of kings
We did it!
at this game.